The wind crawled over the savannah like a tired spirit, whispering through the grass that had turned yellow with the dry season. From afar, the kingdom of Nambaru shimmered in the heat, low hills, thorn trees, and the smell of smoke from distant cooking fires. That morning, a girl named Lami carried a calabash of water on her head as she walked back to her mother's hut. She was 14, slender, her eyes dark and alert, as if they hid something she herself did not always understand. The world said she was quiet. The animals knew she was not. When she passed the old acacia by the stream, a hornbill on a branch croaked, "You are late again, little one." Lami smiled without turning. "My legs are not as quick as your wings," she murmured. The bird tilted its head. "Quick feet will be needed soon." She stopped, uneasy. The hornbill rarely spoke nonsense. But before she could ask, it fluttered away into the blinding light. At home, her mother, Mabwa, stirred millet porridge over the fire. "Your brother went to the royal pens again," she said, voice tight. "He wants to be one of the herders. He thinks the chief's men will notice him." Lami lowered the calabash. "Let him go. He dreams of big things." Mabwa sighed. "Dreams can burn a house faster than fire." Outside, a goat bleated. Lami heard more than the sound. She caught the fear in it. She stepped out, her eyes scanning the compound, just as two riders galloped past, raising dust. One wore the red cloth of the chief's guard. A dry savannah morning, yellow grass, a girl with a water calabash walking beneath an acacia tree while a hornbill watches from above, distant huts and smoke in the heat haze. The riders stopped at the neighboring compound. Lami watched them question an old man. Their voices carried something about stolen cattle, about punishment. Her brother Toma returned later that evening, his face pale, lips trembling. "They said someone from our clan took the chief's white bull," he said. "They don't believe it's from the herders of the West. They say they found my footprints near the pen." Mabwa's wooden spoon dropped. You didn't." Toma shook his head hard. "I swear by the ancestors, I did not." Lami touched his arm. Beneath her fingers, she felt the trembling truth of his words, not in his skin, but deep in the quiet vibration that told her when lies passed. It was her secret gift. She could hear truth like tone, sense deceit like bitter smoke. "He speaks true," she whispered. Her mother looked at her, knowing that her daughter's senses often revealed hidden things. But the guards returned before sunset, dragging Toma away. Mabwa screamed. Lami ran after them until the dust swallowed her. A tense village scene in golden dusk, a teenage boy being dragged by armed horsemen as a young girl and her mother cry out behind them, dry wind lifting dust across the savannah. That night, the sky pressed down heavy and starless. Lami could not sleep. She listened to the wind rustling through the grass, the groan of her mother beside the dying fire, and the far-off cry of hyenas. She whispered into the darkness, "I must know what they plan." From outside came a low growl. A jackal stood near the doorway, eyes shining like 2 drops of moonlight. "They have taken him to the royal hill," the jackal said. "Tomorrow, they will accuse him before the chief. But truth will not speak for him, only fear." Lami's throat tightened. "Can you take me there?" The jackal blinked. "Not through the gates. But I can lead you near enough to hear the wind carry their words." So she wrapped herself in a dark cloth, and when the moon rose, she followed the jackal out of the compound, barefoot on the cool earth. They reached the outer hill by dawn. From behind a boulder, Lami saw the palace, wide courtyards, drums of justice, guards with spears gleaming. A line of prisoners knelt in dust. Among them, a savannah dawn, a hilltop palace with clay walls, a girl crouched behind rocks watching her brother kneeling among other prisoners, a jackal beside her. The chief, old and heavy-eyed, sat beneath a thatched canopy. Beside him stood his advisor, Suru, tall, elegant, his smile cold as stone. One by one, the prisoners spoke. When Toma's turn came, his voice cracked. "I did not steal the bull." Suru lifted a hand. "The footprints prove it. The gods hate a liar." The crowd murmured. Lami felt anger rise in her throat. She could hear the lie vibrating through Suru's words, sharp, high, false. But she could not speak. No one would believe a girl. As drums thundered, the chief declared, "At sunset, the thief shall hang." Lami's knees buckled. The jackal's fur bristled. "Justice is blind when truth is bound," it growled. She turned to the animal. Then I will unbind it. A royal courtyard under morning light, an old chief seated on a dais, a tall advisor with a cruel expression, drums, a boy kneeling in chains, his sister watching unseen among rocks. That evening, she went to the edge of the forest where the hunters left offerings. She knelt before a termite mound and whispered, "Spirits of the plain, lend me ears beyond ears." The grass shifted. A great elephant stepped forward, silent as a shadow. Its eyes glowed with the patience of centuries. "You seek truth," it rumbled. Lami bowed. "Yes. My brother's life depends on it." "Then listen, but know that truth costs more than lies." The elephant lowered its trunk and touched her forehead. In that moment, the world burst into sound, every heartbeat of the savannah, every murmur beneath the earth. She could hear the voices of ants, the thoughts of birds, the sadness of trees. "You will hear what men hide," said the elephant. "But speak with care, for men fear the voice of truth." A mystical night in the savannah, moonlight shining on a massive elephant before a kneeling girl, grass swaying, a sense of ancient power. When she returned home, she found her mother kneeling by the cold fire. "They will hang him at dawn," Mabwa whispered. Lami's heart pounded. She felt the world around her vibrating, the low hum of injustice, the restless breath of animals. She called softly, and the night answered, a vulture circling above, a mongoose creeping from under the wall, the jackal waiting at the gate. "I need you," she told them. "Tomorrow, truth must be heard." The vulture croaked. "We will come night around a quiet village, a girl surrounded by animals, jackal, vulture, mongoose, lit by the faint glow of the moon. At dawn, the people gathered again in the royal courtyard. The air smelled of dust and sweat. Toma was brought out, hands bound. Lami stepped forward through the crowd, her bare feet leaving dark prints in the sand. A guard tried to push her back. "Stay, child." "I am no child today," she said, and her voice carried like a drumbeat. The chief raised an eyebrow. "Who speaks?" "I am Lami of the herders," she said. "My brother is no thief." Suru laughed softly. "The little sister would teach us truth." The world seemed to hush. Even the birds grew still. Lami closed her eyes and listened, deep, deeper, until she heard the hidden heartbeat beneath Suru's calm voice. The beat of guilt. "You lied," she said, pointing at him. "You took the bull yourself, to sell to the traders of the West. You framed my brother." The crowd gasped. Suru's smile faltered. "You dare accuse me?" "Ask the bull," Lami said. "It still lives. Ask it whose scent it remembers." Murmurs rose. The chief frowned. "Bring the bull." Two herders drag.